Hey everybody, Stjepan here. For those of you that know me, I run customer success at Productive, and for those of you who don't know me, I do have the reputation of being Oprah on a budget in Productive. So hopefully today I will justify that reputation. Our topic today is time tracking. It's a bit of a controversial subject, so hopefully I will kind of shed some light on it and hopefully make it a bit less controversial. So let's begin. Before I say anything else, let's quickly talk about our topics today and our agenda. First, I'll explain why time tracking is actually so important, and then I'll show you ways to track time in Productive, which is actually quite easy. And then I'm going to show you automatic time tracking, which is another way of time tracking in Productive. And then I'm going to show you how to use time tracking reminders for those of you who still need a bit of let's say, inspiration to track your time. Now, why is time tracking important to begin with? Well, first of all, it does help you to understand which jobs are completed and which jobs still need more time. Because if you set your estimate at the beginning and then you start working, you will see how much time you have left before something is completed. Then, obviously, you will still see how much time do you need to complete something, and obviously it will increase accountability. What I mean by that is when, let's say the estimate for a certain job was, say, 10 hours, and then if a person has worked on this job for 15 hours, you would probably want to ask them, well, what did you do with those extra 5 hours? Then it will help you with your future estimates because it will help you to set realistic deadlines and delivery dates, because you will know at any given moment how much time does take a certain person to deliver something, and also you'll be able to have realistic expectations for the entire team. This is really important because if you track time, you will be able to see how much workload does each person have, and this will help you in the long run because you will be much more competent to decide, should you take in new work, or do your people have enough work, or should you perhaps give them some more work on top of that? And obviously, in these penny pinching times, it will help you to keep your work profitable. This is especially important if your billing method is set to time and materials, or some of you may call it actuals, or just billing by the hour, because if you don't track time, you'll most certainly lose money on a project that has to be charged by the hour. Now, the thing is here that this is quite a controversial subject, as I said at the beginning, because some of you may feel a bit of an unease with tracking time because there is this feeling of, it's a bit Orwellian, this big brother is watching me, and because we live in capitalism, that's a bit true. But I'll show you how to track time in Productive, and hopefully by the end of this, you will see how this can benefit both you and the complete team. So let's move to the demo, and I'll use this account for this, which has some data in it. So let me quickly go to time, and then my time. And I believe that most of you are quite familiar with this screen right here because it shows you your complete work week, also including the non-working days and the weekends. So to track time here, the only thing that I have to do is first select a project. Let's say it's this one, and select a service that I want to work on. And now I can either start the timer, which will then start ticking, which means that when I'm finished with my work, I can just stop the timer and it will record how much time have I spent working on this particular service. The second thing that I can also do is switch to the manual mode, where I can add time manually. So obviously I can type in that I worked on this service for, let's say, 1 hour, or I worked on this service from, let's say, 9 up until 12. So that's 3 hours in total. The same thing will apply if you use the timer in the main navigation. You will see the completely same screen here, really. The only difference is that here I can track time just for this particular day or for today, whereas here I can track time for the entire week. Now, let's take a look at those bars here. So these bars represent bookings in scheduling. So let's say that my time was allocated to a certain service in scheduling. Here I can actually see what that particular service was. So I can either start a timer, or if I want to track time manually, I can just click on the name of the time entry, and then this booking suggestion will actually track how much time was booked in scheduling. It will apply that right here to time tracking. Now, let's move to a different method, which is the timesheet view. This is a view that I would use if you have like a lot of projects, a lot of services, and you're probably not sure where to track time. So in this view, I would create a grid just by clicking on Add Project, and then again, Add Service that I want to work on, and then it will land here in this grid. So to add time here, I would just click on the day that I'm in, or perhaps the previous day or the day after it, and then just look for the service that I want to work at. So let's take a look at perhaps office management, and let me record 30 minutes for office management. Again, this is really useful if you have a lot of projects and a lot of services. Myself, I'm working at mostly one service, so I would probably use the day view. Here you also have the buttons for time tracking suggestions. And let's take a look at pin perhaps. So I can pin the items that I would use the most. So let's say those are these three. And if I click on pinned, a small blue dot appears saying that I've manually pinned those items to the top. If I were to turn on scheduled, this will actually show me all the projects that I was scheduled to. And in this instance, it's this one. And I can see that by this pink dot. Let me take a look at recent. Now this will obviously show me all of the services that I've tracked time against recently. So here I've tracked time recently on this project and this project as well. So it has like this pale yellow dot next to it. Then the third option is the calendar view. So this is quite specific because it actually places your time entries in like a time frame, because in these previous views, you can only set the duration of a particular time entry, but you cannot really state when did it happen during the day. And here I can actually say I worked on this service for 2 hours. My work has started at 10 and it has ended at 12. So obviously this time entry has lasted for 2 hours. But this is actually not the best part of it. The best part of it would be the fact that I can actually connect it to my Google Calendar and my Microsoft Calendar. Depends which one you are using. So let me move to my personal Productive account, because spoiler alert, we use Productive to build Productive. So this is my account and it's connected to my Google account, or my Google Calendar to be more specific. And here I have some time entries that were picked up from my Google Calendar. And I also have a couple of personal time entries as well, which are not connected to work in any way. So then I can plan my work up front. Here, I'm obviously having this webinar with you guys, so obviously I can track time on that. So I can still use the time tracking suggestions. And let's say I want to click on scheduled. And the service that I would use the most is customer support, which fits this purpose, I would say. So if I click here, it will pre-fill this service from scheduling and then add it to this time entry. Because this Google time entry lasts for 4 hours, I can save it. And now I've actually tracked time against the service called customer support, which is then linked to my Google Calendar. So basically, if you have like a lot of meetings, a lot of external entries from your calendar, you can bring them all to Productive and then track time against them. And obviously, they will have to be then connected to the time entry in here. Okay, let's go back to the demo account. So here, there are a couple of more ways of tracking time that I like to show you. So first of all, it's tracking time on tasks. Now this is also quite specific, and please be mindful of the fact that you will still have to track time on a service. So let me go in a bit more detail here. I'm looking at this project now, and let's click on this task. Let's go to time. And here, obviously, first I have to select a service. So let's say that I'm working on development, and my time tracking is still on development. So I can start a timer, or I can add time manually, obviously. So if I add 1 hour here, if I track 1 hour against development, I'm still tracking time against this service. However, I'm linking it to this task just to be super specific about what I was doing while I was working on development. So I can also do that retroactively. If I were to go back to time, and then hit my time, let's take a look at day view perhaps. And here I can obviously link one of these time entries to a task from this project. Okay, and the last one is for those of you who want to slack off a bit. So it's really perfect for just productive taking care of things for you. And it's called automatic time tracking, and shockingly, it does just exactly what it says on the box. So this is a premium feature, and first you would have to go to settings, and then in add-ons, and then you would have to turn it on. Then you would go to each person you would want to track time for automatically, and then you would have to turn it on person by person basis. A use case here that I would use is a person that's perhaps non-billable, let's say a CEO or a person that works in accounting or an HR person, or anyone that has a really strict schedule. So myself, I know that I will spend at least 2 hours each day on customer support. So I would probably track time for customer support each day automatically, because I'm pretty sure that I'll spend a certain amount of time for that. When you find the person in question, let's say it's this person Lucy, I can click on the automatic time tracking button, and then I will turn it on just for them. Okay, let's now move to scheduling, because in order to track time automatically, you would have to schedule work for this person up front. I've actually done this for Lucy, and now I'm looking at Lucy's schedule here, and I can see that I've already added a couple of bookings for them. So let's say I want to track time for this service called graphic design, and I've actually scheduled 4 hours or 20 hours for 4 days, which translates to 5 hours per each day. So if I turn on automatic time tracking for this particular booking, that means that each day in this time span, so it's from 16th up until the 19th of May, Productive will track automatically 5 hours per each day for graphic design. Again, you would have to turn it on person by person basis, and you would also have to schedule the work for this person up front. Mind you, if you have any questions about any of the topics that we will cover today, please ask them in the QA section of this video, and then our team will answer it after we finish with the stream. Unfortunately, we are a bit tight on time today, so I will not be answering questions live, but our team will follow up with the questions via email. And I'm sure that by now that you know that our team is extremely swift with their answers. Okay, so that was automatic time tracking. As I said, fits perfectly if you have a really strict schedule, or if you are a person which work is, let's say, non-billable. But if you still need some, let's say, encouragement, then we can jump in with giving you a bit of, let's say, a gentle nudge, or perhaps a gentle reminder that you should track time. So let me quickly go to settings. And here I'll go to time tracking. And the first thing that I would use is company-wide email notifications. So this is really, really convenient because Productive is actually reminding a person to track time. So it's not the project manager, it's not the team lead, it's actually us. So people can hate on Productive and not the actual person. You would set a schedule of when should a reminder be sent to a person. So it can be sent, let's say, each day or each week. And the person will have like a gentle reminder saying, have you tracked your time? And then they should obviously go to Productive and track time for the previous day or the previous week. If that doesn't work, you can be even more strict, and you can also use the log timesheets option. I would use this, especially if you have trouble with kind of installing this habit into people just to track time daily or weekly. Because what this does, it actually will lock all time sheets, preventing people from adding time retroactively. So you can say, okay, after this week ends, I would like to lock 5 days after the current week ends. So that means if I lock time entries today or by the end of this week, then on May 12th, people will receive a notification if I like so. But if I don't do that, then the timesheets will be locked for the previous week. In practice, let me quickly go to time and then my time. And then here I will go back to past because I haven't tracked time for this week, but it appears that I cannot track time because time entries are now locked for this period. So I should probably ping my team lead or my project manager or my operations person who will then unlock this, and they will be, or I will be able to add time for this particular period. So as I said, this is really useful if you want to just install really good habits into your team. Okay, I believe that that's all that I wanted to say today. As before, you know that you can ask questions to our support team and that you can ask questions via email, which is support@productive.io. Hopefully this was useful for you, and hopefully now you can understand why time tracking is important. I would probably add that adding time tracking as a habit is really important, especially for new employees, and that's something that I would definitely embed in the company culture. So just be mindful of the fact that when you employ new people, to communicate to them really clearly that time tracking is something that's expected from them. But as you can see from all of these examples, this is something that will actually benefit both you as a company and them as the employee. Okay, as I said, if you had any questions, please write them in, and our team will follow up shortly, either via chat or via email. Thanks for watching. See ya.